Hello, welcome to my floor. Today, we're going to be talking about something that is very important to me, which is the Princess Diaries movies. The third one has finally been announced. I felt like it would be appropriate to discuss specifically the parallels and references that the first two movies have that I think should make it into the third one. So, to start things off, let's talk about what you won't be seeing in this presentation today. The first thing is people. You're not going to be seeing any actors involved in the show in this presentation simply because time commitments are a thing. I am not going to expect people who put time and effort into this production 20 years ago to have the same commitment now. Sometimes, priorities change, so I'm not expecting any actors to come back. I decided to be creative with it. It's easy to make a list of people you want to return. I specifically went for parallels and references. That is the only thing that you're going to see in this presentation today, except for the exception of one character that technically doesn't need to show up, just needs to be referenced. And that's how I'm going to navigate that. Next thing, I'm not going to put too many expectations on what the movie can or cannot be. I'm very open-minded about this. I honestly don't really care that much. I just think it'll be fun to revisit the world. And the third point is the need to take this seriously. This is for fun. I have seen these movies a lot of times, and so that's why I have the ability to make this video, is because a lot of the things in this presentation are things that I noticed just from watching it way too many times. So these might be a lot of things that you are familiar with. And I think that's the way it should be. I don't think it needs to be too crazy niche. I just think it'll be fun to add in some references to the movie. Yeah, this is all in good fun. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting strong, an explanation of what shut up means. It happens in the first movie after Mia finds out she's a princess. In the second movie, it happens at basically the same beat in the movie where Queen Clarice finds out that Mia has to get married in order to become queen. I think that shut up needs to happen again. I think that'd be good. The Stang needs to return, whether it's in a junkyard or on its own pedestal somewhere in the palace. I don't care. Some kind of reference to the Stang. If it's in a picture frame, I don't care. I think it would be a really fun little extra touch to return in the third movie. I think it's got to show up somewhere. Continue its reign. Genovian pears. Genovia is known for their pears, and this is well known. This is known in the first movie where there's like pears in the bouquet at the embassy, and then they have the famous Genovian pear and cheese dessert at the special dinner party thing where Mia makes a big fool of herself. And then in the second movie, they have Genovian pear flavored popcorn, which I think is a fun little thing. I just want the pears to come back. There is also a deleted scene in the second movie where Mia's like, I think she's picking the first Genovian pear of the season or something like that, and everything goes wrong, but that scene didn't make it into the movie. But that is another reference to Genovian pears that happens in the second movie. Some kind of reference to Genovian pears to help build the world more in the third movie. I think that would be good. String cheese. I think the string cheese should come back. I think the string cheese should come back. I think that'd be fun. Now the thing is that the thing about string cheese when it comes to these movies is that it is tied to the same character. It could just be like a weird rumor or myth now that Genovia just has string cheese or something. I don't know. I don't know how they plan on doing it. I just want the string cheese to come back. Some way, somehow. Literally in the second movie, it's one line. It is just one line said by the same actress who originates that scene in the first movie. That's literally it. It doesn't have to be anything. I just want it to come back. All right, next up, makeover with pictures. I think this is adorable. Just having some fun with some makeup and a keratin treatment. You know, funny enough, back in the day, I almost got a keratin treatment on my hair because my hair is very similar to Mia's in the first movie. I love my hair a lot more now. I never got the keratin treatment, and I'm very grateful for that. Which is a fun little anecdote about this. I think that's one of the bummers about the makeover scene, is that the biggest thing is that they changed her hair and also got rid of her glasses, which I also have. Not anymore. I mainly wear contacts now, but yeah, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with the makeover scene in the first movie because it was kind of watching two different things that were part of who I was get taken away to make somebody more beautiful, and that was a little bit rough. However, I do think that's something to note, that just because I'm saying that this needs to come back in the third movie does not mean that I'm negating the significance of what this may or may not have done to young girls, namely me. I think that it would be fun, kind of like basically what they did in the second movie, which was like her wedding look. I think it'd be really fun to have a makeover with pictures when it comes to like getting ready for a ball, or like, we don't know who this movie's about. Maybe it's about Mia's child. Maybe it's them getting ready for their first ball. Like, that's exciting. I think that would be a really good way to bring back the makeover. Hope that made sense. Hope I didn't get a little bit too serious on you there, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Moving on. The courage quote. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. The brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all. I think that this quote needs to return because of its significance and also how it relates to Mia's relationship with her father. This is a really important moment in the first movie, and then it also comes back in an incredibly important moment in the second movie. So at the very end of the first movie, it helps Mia decide to actually become a princess despite her like big fears about what it means to be in the public eye. And then in the second movie, it's Mia overcoming her fear of like, hang on, my foot's asleep. Come on, foot. Come on, foot. Come on, foot. Come on, foot. In the second movie, it's an important moment where Mia decides to prioritize Genovia over her own personal wants or dreams. My foot is falling asleep again. Do I need to stand up? Holy crap, dude. Do I need like a cushion on the floor when I make these videos? I do think that this is an important moment to recognize that I have both Princess Diaries movies on Blu-ray and DVD, and the Christmas that I got this, afterwards, I spent a week watching the second Princess Diaries movie, like, I think it's 11 times in 7 days, because it could have been 14 times. I almost watched it twice a day, but then I had this moment of like, oh no, I need to stop, no, I need to stop, no. When in reality, 14 is way funnier in retrospect. So I do actually regret watching it 11 instead of 14. I think 14 would have been way funnier, but alas. Ugh. Okay. My foot still feels weird, but like, oh well, we're gonna move on. Anyway, I think we covered the courage quote enough. I think it would be a good, like, it'd be a good kind of reference to the first two, where like, maybe Mia's talking to her child, and like this quote comes up, and the child has to make like a decision or whatever. I don't know how it's gonna come up. Maybe it'll be about Mia again. Who knows? I don't write scripts. But anyway, I think the courage quote needs to come back. That's all. The diary! I think the diary needs to come back. Maybe Mia's still filling it out, which would make sense. I feel like she'd be coming to kind of towards the end of the journal after 20 years, because thing is that in the first movie, she gets the journal and starts writing in it, and then in the second movie, she's not very far into the diary. Look at how far she is. She's not that far. It's been 5 years. She's turning 21. She got the diary when she was turning 16. It's been 5 years, and that's how far she's into the diary. So, like, I think she's mainly just filling it with significant events in her life and just kind of documenting those. So maybe she's not that far into the diary. Maybe she still has more to go, or maybe she's gifting a new diary to somebody. Who knows? I have no clue. But I think in some way the diary needs to come back. All right, moving on. Endearing speech at the climax of the movie. I think we need another one. We need a third speech. In the first movie, it's about Mia choosing to become a princess despite her initial fears and worries. In the second movie, it's about Mia's decision to not get married and instead choose to rule the country of Genovia by herself and not have to have a man in order to do that. And yeah, I think we need a third one. We need a third speech. I don't know what it'll be about, but we gotta get another speech in there. I think it would be really fun to see how they choose to move on from this parallel specifically in the third movie because of the way that these two speeches parallel each other. So I think that would be really interesting. Moving on to the next one. A plot-relevant struggle and triumph over a sport, injuring the person helping in the process. This is where it starts to get a little bit more specific when it comes to the parallels. In the first movie, Mia's trying to pass PE, and she's just not good at the sports that you have to do in order to pass PE, because she does rock climbing, she doesn't do baseball, and yeah, in the first one, she I believe hits her PE teacher on the head with the baseball as she's trying to throw it, and then by the end of the movie, she hits a home run because she makes Josh Bryant's life flash before his eyes. And then the second one, Mia has to learn how to shoot a flaming bow and arrow, and she elbows her instructor in the chest, and yeah. By the end of the movie, though, she successfully shoots the arrow, and it's very exciting. I think a plot-relevant struggle and triumph over a sport, I think that would be awesome. I think that could come back in the third movie for sure. However it happens, whether it's passing PE or being a part of becoming a queen ceremony, to whatever the third version is, I think this needs to come back. Alright, Genovian Independence Day and its relationship to Mia's birthday. We're getting even more niche now. This is a very specific thing. In the first movie, the ball that happens at the end of the movie is the Genovian annual Independence Day ball, which after that scene happens in the voiceover that Mia does at the end of that movie, she says that she can legally drive her car in 2 weeks, which means that she was planning on getting her license on her 16th birthday. We already knew that Mia's 15 for the entire movie because her birthday doesn't actually happen, because she gets the diary early. She has the she goes to the ball. She's technically not 16 yet. All of this to say, Mia's birthday hasn't happened yet when the Genovian Independence Day ball happens. In the second movie, however, we start off the movie with Mia's 21st birthday. And then partway through the movie, we have the Genovian Independence Day parade. So in the second movie, Mia's birthday happens, and then Genovian Independence Day happens. So my question is this: are there two Genovian Independence Days? What are their significance to the, like, what is each of these days' significance to the country, and how they celebrate it? That's what I'm also fascinated by, is, are these 2 days different, or was this just planned poorly? Either way, I think that in order to continue this parallel into the third movie, they need to make it even more drastic. This is one of the ones that has to do specifically with a character. I think that if they continue this into the third movie, they need to make it worse. They need to make the plot inconsistency even worse. I just know that they need to do something even sillier. And I will notice, because I'll be keeping track. I'll be taking notes. Because the thing is that they could just not have either one in the movie. They could just say, oh, this is a different time of year. Neither one is happening. This movie takes place fully in wintertime. Fully in the winter. It's not happening. Nothing else is happening. Or they could commit to it even more, which I think is the choice that they should make. Just make it worse. I don't care how. I don't care. Make it worse. Make Independence Day on Mia's birthday. That's crazy. That's my motto now. Just make it worse. Moving on, goofy manners lessons. In the first one, Mia's taking manners lessons about, like, you know, good posture, how to walk, how to sit, and she makes funny faces at Charlotte, and Charlotte laughs. And so she's not really taking it fully seriously, and it's a cute little montage. And then the second movie, Mia's learning fan language, which is incredibly fun. Love fan language. Love to get to see it in this movie. And in the process of goofing around with the fans, she makes Charlotte laugh again. I think there's lots of ways that you could put this into the third movie. Somebody's learning manners. That's it. That's the movie. Moving on, the Von Trokens. This is the one character that I am referencing in this in this list when it comes to parallels that need to come back, because they just need to be referenced. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. I'm not expecting them to return. I would love for them to return. I want every single character to return. Yeah, I think the Von Trokens could come back as a reference. However that happens, whether it be, oh, the Von Trokens almost were in control of this country, oh, they were next in line, oh, they're so silly. I want them to come back. I love them. They're delightful. The Genovian national anthem. Both times that it's sung in the movies, it is sung by Prime Minister Motaz. Love him dearly. In the first movie, it's sung once. In the second movie, it's referenced twice. It's at the end of the movie, but it's also in the parade scene. You can hear them singing in it in the background. But yeah, I think the Genovian national anthem should come back. Moving on. People copying Mia to hide mistakes. I felt pretty good about once again referencing Mia in this list, because I feel like she's the one person we could all feel pretty good about being sure that she's going to be in this movie. So I didn't feel too bad about this one. So in the first movie, happens at the dinner, the big dinner, where the Prime Minister and his wife copy Mia after she takes too much, she eats too much of the palate cleanser, which is basically just completely frozen, like ice cream looking stuff. And so she's getting brain freeze, so they take a bunch too, so that they also get brain freeze, so that she looks less bad or less embarrassed by the situation. And then in the second movie, after Mia and Andrew have announced their engagement, like literally they're up on the balcony and they're greeting the people of Genovia, Mia like steps forward towards the balcony and knocks over a floral display, and then she picks it up to cover her tracks. And then as they're leaving, Andrew picks up the other one and just like bows to the Genovians in the crowd, and then just walks away with the other one. Love these scenes so much. I think it's so adorable. I think that this is a cute little quirk that needs to come back in the third movie. Moving on. Postage stamps. This is one of my other favorite moments in both of the movies. In the first one, Baron von Trocken is saying to Baroness von Trocken, soon we'll be like rulers of this country, and your face will be on a postage stamp. And then in the second movie, after Nicholas is like, no, I'm not gonna be king. I refuse to be king. Princess Mia should be queen, like blah blah blah. And then he says, and just think how lovely she'll look on our postage stamp. So we need to see Mia's face on a postage stamp. That's all. That's it. I just want to see Mia's face on a postage stamp. I think that would be a really good way to round out this lovely little arc that we have going on here. We need to have the execution of the mailing system, okay? We need to see it. We need to see it in the third movie. That's it. I look like a blank, but a very cute blank. So this actually happens in the first movie too. The more well-known one is in the second movie with I look like a moose, but a very cute moose. This also happens in the first movie when Mia's getting ready for the beach party and she's trying on like a green swimsuit and she says, I look like an asparagus. And her mom says, but a very cute asparagus. It's a very short moment though. It's just the 2 lines. And they come back in the second movie and it's adorable. They gotta come back. Next, as your queen, as your grandmother. So this is actually Queen Clarice kind of character development parallel, where in the first movie, Clarice is learning how to be a grandmother, and in the second movie, she displays that she's learned how to be a grandmother. In the first movie, one of Clarice's issues is that she is learning how to have a granddaughter while at the same time critiquing her behavior so that she could potentially become a future ruler of Genovia, which is completely understandable. But it's a discussion on the like struggle between I want to teach you responsibility and how to do this job, but also I need to be able to understand how to empathize with you and be compassionate when you are having a hard time. And that's one of the main themes for Clarice in the first movie. And then the second movie, she displays that she has learned this lesson. Sorry, my foot is falling asleep again. In the second movie, she displays that she's learned this lesson by talking to Mia after she fully steps on Nicholas's foot when she first meets him at the palace, where basically she's talking to Mia about like, hey, what was that? And Mia explains, oh, he like, I have met him before, he didn't tell me who he was, blah blah blah, like this was a rude interaction because he was rude to me first, like blah blah blah. And she's like, hey, as your queen, don't do that again. as a grandma, right on. So it's a cute little reference to the character arc that she has in the first movie, and I would love to see that carried over to the third one, where it's kind of a recognition that she's no longer Queen of Genovia anymore, so it would be really interesting to see how that changes. Oh, this is another character reference, but also it couldn't necessarily be like about Clarice in the third movie. It could be about Mia and her relationship with, like, maybe her child, if that's the plot. If that's the plot, it could be about her relationship with her child, her being queen and learning how to be a parent. I think that would be a really interesting change and shift in, like, this character arc specifically. My foot. What is wrong with my foot? I need this video to be over yesterday. Miracles Happen. Let's talk about Miracles Happen. Miracles Happen is a song that is in the first movie. It's kind of the theme of the movie. Hang on, I'm just gonna like take care of my foot while I talk about this. Miracles Happen in the first movie happens towards the end of the movie. It's the nice, like, it's the feel-good song that kind of rounds out the end of the movie. Kind of is a reference to the fact that Mia even becomes a princess in the first place, because like her whole discussion with Lily towards the end of the movie highlights that. She literally says that you being a princess is kind of a miracle, because you're just a regular ordinary girl and you now have the power to make change and like make people listen. And so it's kind of a reference to the power that Mia now has as a princess. Like she can be an influential change in the world, and that's really exciting. And that's a very like deep dive into why the song's in the movie, but like it's not that serious. It's at the end of the movie. It's very fun. It happens twice in the second movie. It's an instrumental at the very beginning of the movie, and then it shows up again at the garden party in the movie, where it's sung in Mandarin by a singer called Johnny Blue. Now I had no idea who this man was. I didn't know why he was on my movie screen, but apparently at the time of these movies being filmed, he was actually an up-and-coming singer in China at the time, I believe. And that's also the other reason why the other singer, Anna Netrebko, was in the movie as well, is that she's also an actual singer. So they had singers play themselves in the movie, and that's why they're in the movie at all. So Johnny Blue sings Miracles Happen in Mandarin in this movie. That's why. And then I decided to go on a deep dive onto his IMDb page, and I found out that not only was he in Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement, he was also a composer on the Hallmark Christmas movie Snow Bride, which happens to be one of the 3 Hallmark Christmas movies that I personally have on DVD. So I think that's a really fun touch. Kind of a fun anecdote. Kind of fun. So the way that Miracles Happen needs to return in the third movie is that it needs to be in the movie 3 times. The first movie, it's in there once. Second movie, it's in there twice. Third movie needs to be in there 3 times. I don't care how. Could be an instrumental, could be sung in a different language. We could do whatever. Anything can happen. Miracles can happen. Once in a while, when you believe, make it happen. Okay, a song by Pink being on the soundtrack, I think that would be delightful. In the first movie, Split Personality. In the second movie, Treble. A song by Pink being on the soundtrack, I think that would be delightful. Make it happen. And now, for the final thing on this presentation, which arguably for me, will actually make or break this movie. If this isn't in the movie, I actually will be devastated. I will be truly, truly devastated. And may I remind you, it's not that serious. This is not that serious. This is just a movie that I was raised on. This parallel specifically is so crucial to the third movie for me, and I won't know if this movie is perfect until the very end of the movie. The William Tell Overture playing during a change from one form of transportation to another during the climax of the movie after someone has a realization that leads them to change their mind about attending an event. So let's break this down. In the first movie, Mia decides that she doesn't want to be a princess, and Clarice asks her to formally renounce her claim to the throne for the press. She has to give a speech. And that causes Mia to be like, oh no, I'm not going at all. But she doesn't tell Clarice that. She's just like, oh, yeah, for sure, I'll be there. Starts packing her stuff immediately. It's a lot to put on, you know, a 15-year-old. And then she finds the letter from her father, and that kind of leads her to realize, oh, I do actually want to do this. And so she gets in her car, she gets in the Stang that's been barely working this entire movie, and she tries driving it to the ball, the Genovian Independence Day ball, and it breaks down. And thankfully, Joe, the saint that he is, realizes that Mia is trying to run, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go get her. And so he takes a limousine and goes and gets her. And that's when the William Tell overture plays, is while Mia is lying in her car, rain pouring all over her face, she's singing Catch a Falling Star. She's so sad. And then Joe shows up, William Tell overture is playing, and she's like, oh, hey. No, I wasn't running away. I was going to a ball. And he's like, haha, okay, get in. And that's how it happens in the first movie. In the second movie, Nicholas finds out that his uncle was instrumental in setting up him and Mia at the lake with the paparazzi. And it makes him realize, because he's talking to Gretchen the maid about it, and Gretchen is the one who tells him, and she's just like, hey, your uncle did this. And he's like, oh no, I gotta get to that wedding. He's gonna cause something bad to happen. And so Gretchen shows him, oh hey, we have your grandfather's bike. Ride your grandfather's bike to the wedding, because everything else is booked. Everything else is rented. There is no other available transportation. And so we watch him biking on this massive, beautiful bike through the countryside, and the William Tell overture is playing as he comes across a farmer on a horse with a field of sheep, and he asks to borrow the farmer's horse, and he takes the horse, and the William Tell overture continues to play as he rides away to the wedding. I don't know how they're gonna put this in the third movie. I don't know what they're gonna do. I just think it's funny that they've done it twice. I have 2 nickels. I'd like a third. This is such an important moment in the movie to me because it's just so silly. It's so silly because why did you put this in the movies twice? Why did you do this twice? Why? Make it a third. Make it happen a third time. Please, I'm begging you. I am begging you here. I love this moment in the movies. I think it's so funny. But yeah, I think they need to do it a third time. I think it's delightful. Anyway, thank you for shutting up and listening to me. I really appreciate it. That is everything that I have today. If you enjoyed this video, I have not done anything else like this on my channel. I've mainly made weird craft videos and video game videos. So, take your pick. I do plan on making something similar to this in the future. It's not necessarily analyzing movies, but I will talk about other things I care about. I have plans. I also have plans for the other stuff too. I do a lot. I haven't posted in 2 months. I do plan on posting sooner than that in the future, so if you want to stick around for me being weird, feel free to do so. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.